The incident with the submarine, which had been dubbed the unsinkable marvel by the crew in jest, quickly became a legendary tale among sailors in the region. It was a story that captured the imagination of both the seasoned naval officers and the fresh-faced cadets. All of them couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation. The unsinkable marvel had lived up to its name, emerging from a potentially disastrous underwater mishap unscathed, and its reputation as a vessel with a mind of its own only grew. As the years passed, the crew members who had been on board that fateful night continued to serve in the Navy, some even rising through the ranks. They carried with them the memory of the submarine's unscheduled dive as both a badge of honor and a source of endless amusement during late-night gatherings at the officers' mess. Captain Ivanov, who had been in command of the unsinkable marvel during the incident, was now Rear Admiral and often regaled his colleagues with the story over a glass of fine Russian vodka. His eyes would twinkle mischievously as he recounted the events, and his deep laughter would fill the room. "Ah, comrades," he would say, "you haven't truly experienced the unpredictability of the sea until you've had a football match interrupted by a sudden underwater excursion." The legend of the unsinkable marvel even found its way into naval folklore. Sailors told tales of a sentient submarine that roamed the seas, occasionally diving on its own to remind everyone of its remarkable escape. Some even claimed to have seen its ghostly silhouette beneath the waves during stormy nights, its conning tower eerily illuminated by the flashes of lightning. But beneath the humor and folklore, there was an underlying truth that the incident had revealed the sea was a relentless force, and those who sailed upon it were mere mortals subject to its whims. The unsinkable marvel had showcased the power of teamwork, resourcefulness, and, perhaps most importantly, the ability to find humor even in the face of danger. As the unsinkable marvel continued its vigil at the dock, life on the base went on as usual. New recruits arrived, and old sailors retired. But the story of the submarine endured. It was a reminder that, in the world of submarines, and indeed in life itself, one could never predict what might happen next. One sunny morning, as the crew of the unsinkable marvel went about their routine maintenance tasks, a peculiar event unfolded. A group of tourists, led by an enthusiastic guide, arrived at the naval base. It was an unusual occurrence as the base was not a typical tourist attraction, and civilians were rarely granted access. The tourists, armed with cameras and wearing wide-eyed expressions of curiosity, followed their guide to the edge of the dock where the unsinkable marvel was berthed. The guide, a middle-aged woman with a penchant for dramatic storytelling, began to narrate the legendary tale of the submarine. "And here, ladies and gentlemen," she exclaimed, "is the famous unsinkable marvel. The very same submarine that defied the laws of physics and took an unexpected dip into the barren sea." The tourists gasped in unison, their attention fully captivated by the story. They snapped photos of the submarine and listened intently as the guide continued. "Now, if you look closely," she said, "you might even see the ghostly figure of the unsinkable marvel's captain, Admiral Ivanov, peering out from the conning tower on stormy nights." The tourists exchanged excited whispers, trying to spot any sign of the legendary ghostly captain. Of course, there was nothing to see, but the atmosphere was charged with a sense of adventure and wonder. Meanwhile, the crew of the unsinkable marvel watched the spectacle with a mixture of amusement and bemusement. It was not every day that their submarine became the star attraction for a group of curious civilians. As the tour continued, one of the tourists, a young woman with fiery red hair and an adventurous spirit, approached the submarine's crew. She introduced herself as Amelia, a journalist with a travel magazine, and explained that she had a fascination with unusual stories from around the world. "I couldn't resist the chance to see the famous unsinkable marvel for myself," Amelia said with a smile. The crew members, always eager for a good story, welcomed Amelia warmly and offered to show her around the submarine. She eagerly accepted their invitation, and soon she found herself on board the vessel that had become a legend. Amelia's article, titled The Unsinkable Marvel, A Tale of Resilience, was met with widespread acclaim when it was published. It captured not only the remarkable story of the submarine's adventure, but also the essence of the sailors who manned it. The article shed light on the often overlooked human side of the Navy, showcasing the bravery and camaraderie that define these men and women. As the fame of the unsinkable marvel and its crew spread, so did the legend of their extraordinary resilience. The submarine, once a symbol of unpredictability, became a symbol of hope and determination. It served as a reminder that even in the face of unexpected challenges, the human spirit could rise above and emerge stronger. The crew members of the unsinkable marvel continued their service, knowing that their legend would forever be a part of naval history. They welcomed each day with the same dedication and camaraderie that had carried them through their remarkable adventure. And as for Amelia, she found herself drawn not only to the story of the submarine, but also to the sea itself. She embarked on a new journey, one that took her to different naval bases and allowed her to share the untold stories of sailors from around the world. In her travels, she discovered that the indomitable spirit she had witnessed on the unsinkable Marvel was not unique, but was a testament to the resilience of humanity in the face of adversity. In the end, the unsinkable Marvel had not only defied the laws of physics, but had also ignited a spark of inspiration that spread far beyond the naval base and the pages of a travel magazine. It had become a symbol of human determination, a testament to the power of unity and resilience. As Amelia continued her journey, she found herself drawn to stories of courage and perseverance from all corners of the globe. She traveled to remote islands where fishermen battled treacherous seas, to war-torn regions where aid workers risked their lives to bring hope, and the bustling ports where sailors from diverse backgrounds shared their experiences. One of her most memorable journeys took her to the rugged coast of Alaska, where she encountered a group of fishermen whose lives were intertwined with the unpredictable nature of the Bering Sea. They, too, had their own tales of resilience and camaraderie to share. Amelia stood on the weather deck of a fishing trawler, her camera in hand, as she watched the crew haul in a massive catch of king crabs. The sea spray stung her cheeks, and the icy winds whipped through her hair. She couldn't help but admire the determination of the fishermen as they worked tirelessly in the harsh conditions. One of the crew members, a grizzled old fisherman named Jack, approached Amelia with a friendly smile. His weathered face bore the scars of countless battles with the sea, but his eyes sparkled with a deep love for his craft. "Quite a sight, isn't it?" Jack said, nodding toward the piles of crabs being sorted on the deck. "Mother Nature can be fierce out here, but she also provides." Amelia nodded, captivated by the scene before her. "It's incredible. How do you all manage to do this every day, knowing the risks involved?" Jack chuckled, a hint of pride in his voice. "We're a tight-knit crew, like a family. We watch out for each other, and that's what gets us through the toughest times. The sea can be unforgiving, but she's also brought us together." As the day turned into night, Amelia joined the crew in their cramped galley for a hearty meal of fresh crab and stories of their adventures at sea. She listened intently as they shared tales of near misses with towering waves, encounters with curious marine life, and moments of sheer awe as they witnessed the raw beauty of the Bering Sea. Amelia couldn't help but draw parallels between the fishermen's stories and those of the crew of the unsinkable Marvel. Both groups faced the unpredictability of the ocean, relying on their camaraderie and resilience to navigate its challenges. Over the course of her travels, Amelia encountered many more individuals whose stories echoed the themes of determination and unity. From a group of humanitarian aid workers providing medical care in war-torn regions to a team of scientists studying the effects of climate change in the Arctic, she witnessed firsthand the extraordinary feats that ordinary people could achieve when faced with adversity. Amelia's articles continued to garner attention, not just for the compelling narratives, but also for the underlying message of hope and resilience. Her work became a source of inspiration for readers around the world, reminding them that even in the darkest of times, there were stories of courage and triumph waiting to be told. One day, as she prepared to embark on her next adventure, Amelia received an unexpected invitation. It was an email from Captain Ivanov, the former commander of the unsinkable Marvel, who had been following her career with great interest. He expressed his admiration for her work and extended an invitation for her to visit the naval base once again. Amelia was thrilled by the prospect of reuniting with the crew who had first ignited her passion for stories of resilience. She accepted the invitation without hesitation and soon found herself back at the familiar dock where the unsinkable Marvel stood proudly. As she stepped onto the submarine's deck, memories of her previous visit flooded back. The crew greeted her with warm smiles and firm handshakes, as if she were an old friend returning home. Captain Ivanov, now retired from active duty but still a commanding presence, welcomed Amelia with a hearty laugh. "Ah, the intrepid journalist returns. We've been following your adventures, and I must say, you've become quite the legend yourself." Amelia blushed at the compliment. "It's an honor to be back here and see all of you again. Your story continues to inspire me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share it with the world." Over the course of her visit, Amelia conducted interviews with the crew members, capturing their experiences and perspectives on resilience. She learned about their lives after the incident with the unsinkable Marvel, their continued dedication to the Navy, and the enduring bonds of friendship that had formed among them. As she delved deeper into their stories, Amelia couldn't help but notice a common thread: the importance of community and support. Whether it was the crew of a submarine, fishermen battling the Bering Sea, or aid workers in conflict zones, they all emphasized the role of teamwork and camaraderie in overcoming challenges. Amelia decided to focus her next article on this theme of unity in the face of adversity. She wanted to showcase how different communities, despite their diverse backgrounds, Amelia decided to focus her next article on this theme of unity in the face of adversity. She wanted to showcase how different communities, despite their diverse backgrounds and experiences, shared a fundamental human trait: the capacity to come together and support one another during difficult times. In the months that followed, Amelia traveled the world once again, seeking out stories that exemplified the strength of human connections. She met with a group of mountaineers who had faced a life-threatening avalanche and survived through their unwavering trust in each other. She documented the efforts of a small coastal town in rebuilding their community after a devastating hurricane. And she profiled the resilience of a group of refugees who had found solace and support in a foreign land. Amelia's articles, collectively titled Bonds of Resilience, painted a vivid portrait of the human spirit's capacity to triumph over adversity. The stories resonated deeply with her readers, who found solace and inspiration in the tales of ordinary individuals facing extraordinary circumstances. Her work earned her accolades and recognition within the field of journalism. But for Amelia, the greatest reward was knowing that she had contributed to a greater understanding of the power of resilience and unity. She continued to share stories from around the world, believing that each narrative held the potential to inspire positive change and foster empathy among people from different walks of life. As the years passed, the crew of the unsinkable Marvel continued to serve their country, their bond unbreakable. Captain Ivanov, now in his twilight years, looked back on his naval career with a sense of fulfillment. He knew that the incident with the submarine had been a turning point not just in their lives but in the lives of those who had heard their story. The legend of the unsinkable Marvel had evolved from a quirky tale of a rogue submarine into a symbol of human resilience, reminding people that even in the face of uncertainty, they could rise above challenges and emerge stronger together. One summer evening, as Captain Ivanov sat on his porch overlooking the sea, he received an unexpected visitor. It was Amelia, the journalist whose journey had intertwined with his own. She had traveled from afar to see him once more. As they sat together, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Captain Ivanov spoke with gratitude in his voice. "You know, Amelia, your visit all those years ago changed the way we saw our own story. You helped us understand that our experience was part of a greater narrative of human strength and resilience." Amelia smiled warmly. "And you, Captain Ivanov, and your crew have been an enduring source of inspiration for me and countless others. Your willingness to share your story has touched lives in ways you may never fully realize." As they continued to reminisce and share stories of their respective journeys, the sea stretched out before them, vast and unpredictable. It was a reminder that, like the unsinkable Marvel, the world was full of surprises, challenges, and moments of awe-inspiring beauty. The legacy of the submarine and its crew lived on, not just in the stories that had been told, but in the countless acts of resilience and unity that continued to unfold around the world. And as long as there were stories to be shared, there would always be hope, inspiration, and a reminder that, in the face of adversity, humanity could rise above, just like the unsinkable Marvel. Years had passed since Amelia's last visit to the naval base and her reunion with Captain Ivanov and his crew. In that time, much had changed in the world, but the lessons of resilience and unity remained as relevant as ever. Amelia had continued her career as a renowned journalist, traveling to distant lands and chronicling the stories of people who had faced adversity with unwavering determination. She had received awards and recognition for her work, but she remained humble and focused on the power of storytelling to inspire positive change. One sunny morning, Amelia received an email from an unexpected source, an old friend she had met during her early days as a journalist. It was Sarah, a fellow reporter who had covered stories in conflict zones and disaster-stricken regions. Sarah had always been driven by a sense of duty to bring attention to the suffering of those in crisis, and her latest assignment had taken her to a war-torn country in the Middle East. The email was brief but urgent. It read, "Amelia, I hope this message finds you well. I'm in a difficult situation here, and I could use your help. I can't explain everything in writing, but I believe I've stumbled upon a story that's unlike anything I've ever encountered. It involves a group of people who are demonstrating remarkable resilience in the face of unimaginable challenges. Please, if you can, come to this region as soon as possible. I need your expertise and your courage. Yours, Sarah. Amelia's heart raced as she read the message. She knew that when Sarah used words like remarkable resilience and unimaginable challenges, it was not to be taken lightly. Without hesitation, she began making the necessary arrangements to travel to the war-torn country. Upon her arrival, Amelia was greeted by Sarah, who looked haggard but determined. They met in a dimly lit cafe in a city where danger lurked around every corner. Sarah wasted no time in getting to the heart of the matter. Amelia, I've been investigating a group of individuals here who have been quietly defying the odds. Sarah began, her voice low to avoid attracting attention. They're not soldiers or politicians, but ordinary citizens who have banded together to protect their community and preserve their way of life amidst the chaos of war. Amelia leaned in, her curiosity piqued. Tell me more. Sarah explained that the group consisted of doctors, teachers, engineers, and artist people from diverse backgrounds who had found themselves caught in the crossfire of a brutal conflict. Faced with bombings, shortages of food and medicine, and the constant threat of violence, they had come together to form what they called the Unity Collective. They're not just surviving, they're thriving, Sarah continued. Despite the destruction all around them, they've managed to create a sense of normalcy. They run makeshift schools, provide medical care, and organize cultural events to remind people of their shared humanity. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Amelia was deeply moved by Sarah's account. It was a story of resilience in its purest form, the ability of ordinary people to find strength in unity and to stand defiant in the face of despair. She knew that this was a story that needed to be told, not only to shed light on the plight of the people in the war-torn region, but also to inspire others with the message that even in the darkest of times, humanity could prevail. Over the following weeks, Amelia and Sarah embedded themselves within the Unity Collective. They witnessed firsthand the challenges the group faced, the constant need for medical supplies, the difficulty of educating children in a war zone, and the emotional toll of living in a state of perpetual uncertainty. Yet, despite these obstacles, the members of the collective remained steadfast in their commitment to their community. Amelia interviewed the group's leaders, including Dr. Samir, a dedicated physician who had turned his home into a makeshift clinic, and Layla, a teacher who had transformed her living room into a classroom for children who had lost their schools to the conflict. She also spoke with Yusuf, an artist who organized impromptu art exhibitions in bombed-out buildings to remind people of the beauty that could still exist in their lives. As she documented their stories, Amelia couldn't help but draw parallels between the Unity Collective and the crews of the unsinkable Marvel and the Alaskan fishermen. While their circumstances were vastly different, the underlying themes of resilience, unity, and the indomitable human spirit remained consistent. One evening, as Amelia sat with Dr. Samir in his makeshift clinic, she asked him about the source of the group's unwavering determination. We've seen the worst of humanity in this conflict, Dr. Samir admitted, his eyes reflecting the weight of his experiences. But we've also seen the best. When you have nothing left to lose, you discover the true meaning of community. We realized that if we didn't come together to help one another, no one else would. It's a matter of survival, but it's also a matter of preserving our humanity. Amelia nodded, deeply moved by his words. The story of the Unity Collective was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and she knew that it deserved to be shared with the world. With Sarah's help, Amelia compiled her interviews, photographs, and observations into a powerful series of articles titled Unity Rising. The stories chronicled the daily struggles and triumphs of the Unity Collective, highlighting their unwavering commitment to each other and their community. The articles were published in major newspapers and magazines around the world, and they resonated deeply with readers. The Unity Collective's story became a symbol of hope and resilience in a world often plagued by conflict and division. Offers of support and assistance poured in from individuals and organizations eager to help the group in any way they could. As the world learned about the Unity Collective and its remarkable resilience, pressure mounted on governments and international organizations to address the conflict and provide aid to the war-torn region. Diplomatic efforts were renewed, and humanitarian aid began to flow into the area. Amelia and Sarah continued to stay with the Unity Collective, witnessing the gradual improvements in their lives. Children who had been deprived of education now had access to makeshift schools, and the clinic expanded its services to treat more patients. The members of the collective remained humble, acknowledging that the global attention they had received had played a significant role in their progress. One day, as Amelia sat with Layla, the teacher, in their makeshift classroom, she asked her what message she would like to convey to the world. Layla smiled, her eyes filled with determination. "I want people to know that even in the darkest of times, even when it feels like the world has forgotten you, there is hope, there is strength in unity, and there is resilience in the human spirit. We may be an ordinary group of people, but together, we can accomplish extraordinary things." Amelia knew that Layla's message would resonate with readers as it had with her. The story of the Unity Collective had become a beacon of hope, a reminder that even amidst the harshest of circumstances, humanity could rise above and rebuild. As the conflict in the region began to show signs of resolution, Amelia and Sarah prepared to leave. Their work with the Unity Collective had been transformative, both personally and professionally. But they knew that the people they had met would continue their journey of resilience long. On their last day with the Unity Collective, a farewell gathering was organized. Members of the community came together to express their gratitude, and there were tears of both sadness and joy. Dr. Samir, Layla, and Yusuf each spoke, thanking Amelia and Sarah for shining a light on their struggle. Amelia stood before the gathered crowd, her heart heavy with emotion. "You are the living embodiment of resilience," she told them. "Your story has touched the hearts of people around the world, and it serves as a powerful reminder that even in the face of unimaginable challenges, there is hope. The Unity Collective has shown us that unity can be a force stronger than any conflict, and your spirit will continue to inspire generations to come." As Amelia and Sarah left the war-torn region, they carried with them not only the stories of the Unity Collective, but also the enduring belief that the human spirit could overcome even the most formidable obstacles. The world had been reminded once again that resilience, unity, and the capacity for hope were not just ideals. They were the driving forces that could lead humanity to brighter tomorrows. Back home, Amelia continued to write stories of resilience from different corners of the world. She knew that while conflict and adversity might be part of the human experience, so too were courage, compassion, and the ability to rise above. And she remained committed to sharing these stories, knowing that each one held the power to inspire positive change and bring people closer together. As for the Unity Collective, their story did not end with the departure of Amelia and Sarah. They continued to rebuild their lives, their community, and their country. The legacy of their resilience served as a beacon of hope for future generations, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity. And so, the world turned, and stories of resilience continued to be written, reminding us all that in the face of adversity, we could rise above. Just like the Unity Collective, the crews of the unsinkable Marvel and the Alaskan fishermen, and countless others who had shown that the human spirit was, indeed, unsinkable. The Unity Collective's story had ignited a spark of hope in hearts around the world, and the impact of their resilience continued to ripple through the years. As time passed, the war-torn region where they had found their strength began to heal, slowly but surely. Negotiations led to a ceasefire, and international aid organizations poured resources into the area, helping to rebuild shattered infrastructure and homes. One of the lasting effects of the Unity Collective's story was the attention it brought to the plight of children in conflict zones. Their makeshift schools, which had been featured prominently in Amelia's articles, inspired a global movement to ensure that education was accessible to all children, regardless of their circumstances. The Unity Collective's legacy extended far beyond their own community, leaving an indelible mark on the world. Amelia, having returned to her home country, continued her career as a journalist. Her experiences with the Unity Collective had changed her profoundly, reinforcing her belief in the power of storytelling to drive positive change. She dedicated herself to covering stories of resilience and hope, seeking out the unsung heroes who made a difference in their communities. One of her most memorable assignments took her to a remote village in Africa, where a group of women had banded together to combat poverty and inequality. They had formed a cooperative that produced handmade crafts, allowing them to support their families and send their children to school. The women's determination and resourcefulness resonated with Amelia, and she spent weeks documenting their journey. Amelia's stories continued to be published in major newspapers and magazines, and she received invitations to speak at conferences and events around the world. She used these platforms to advocate for the causes she was passionate about, from education for all to gender equality and environmental conservation. Sarah, too, remained committed to journalism's higher purpose. Her experiences in conflict zones had given her a unique perspective on the human cost of war, and she dedicated herself to shedding light on the stories that often went untold. Her investigations into war crimes and human rights abuses brought attention to the need for justice and accountability. Years after their time with the Unity Collective, Amelia and Sarah reunited for a joint project. They traveled to a remote rainforest in South America, where indigenous communities were fighting to protect the land from illegal logging and mining operations. The unity and resilience they had witnessed in the war-torn region had left a lasting impression, and they hoped to capture a similar spirit among the indigenous people. The journey was arduous, taking them deep into the heart of the rainforest, where they lived alongside the indigenous communities. They learned about their struggles to maintain their traditional way of life and protect the delicate ecosystem that had sustained them for generations. Amelia and Sarah documented the indigenous people's efforts to use sustainable farming practices, preserve their cultural heritage, and engage in peaceful advocacy. Their stories highlighted the importance of preserving biodiversity and respecting the rights of indigenous communities. The articles they wrote had a profound impact, leading to increased awareness of the threats facing the rainforest and the need for conservation efforts. International organizations rallied to support the indigenous communities, and governments took steps to combat illegal logging and mining. As the years passed, the rainforest thrived, and the indigenous communities continued to protect their land and traditions. The unity they had shown in the face of adversity became a symbol of hope for environmental activists around the world. Amelia and Sarah's careers flourished, and they remained close friends and collaborators. Their shared experiences, from the Unity Collective to the rainforest, had bonded them in a way that transcended mere friendship. They understood the power of storytelling to inspire change and were committed to using their voices for good. Meanwhile, the members of the Unity Collective had rebuilt their lives and community. With international aid and support, they had reconstructed their homes, schools, and clinic. Dr. Samir's clinic had grown into a fully equipped medical facility, serving not only their community, but also neighboring villages. Layla, the teacher, had become an advocate for education in conflict zones. She traveled to other war-torn regions, sharing her experiences and helping to set up makeshift schools for children who had been denied an education due to conflict. Her work inspired a new generation of educators dedicated to providing learning opportunities to children in crisis. Yusuf, the artist, had turned the ruins of bombed-out buildings into vibrant art galleries, showcasing the resilience and creativity of the human spirit. His exhibitions attracted visitors from around the world and brought attention to the importance of preserving culture during times of conflict. The Unity Collective had become a model for post-conflict recovery and community resilience. They shared their experiences and knowledge with other communities facing similar challenges, offering guidance and support. Their stories served as a beacon of hope, reminding people that even in the darkest of times, unity and determination could lead to a brighter future. Over the years, the members of the Unity Collective had welcomed new additions to their community, children born in a time of peace and hope. These children grew up hearing the stories of their parents and elders, learning the values of unity, resilience, and compassion. One of these children, a young girl named Amina, had dreams of becoming a doctor like Dr. Samir. She was inspired by the clinic that had saved lives and brought hope to her community. Amina's determination to pursue her education and contribute to her community's well-being was a testament to the enduring legacy of the Unity Collective. As the years turned into decades, the war-torn region where the Unity Collective had found their resilience transformed. The scars of conflict began to fade as new generations worked together to rebuild their homeland. The lessons of unity and resilience remained a guiding light, ensuring that the horrors of war were never forgotten but were instead used as a source of strength to build a better future. The story of the Unity Collective continued to be told, passed down through the generations as a reminder of what could be achieved when people came together with a shared purpose. It became a part of the region's identity, a symbol of hope that transcended borders and languages. And so, the world witnessed the enduring power of resilience, unity, and the indomitable spirit of humanity. From the naval crews of the unsinkable Marvel and the Alaskan fishermen to the members of the Unity Collective and the countless others who had faced adversity with courage and determination, their stories served as a testament to the human capacity to rise above, to rebuild, and to inspire positive change. In a world where challenges and crises would always exist, these stories remained a source of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit was indeed unsinkable. And as long as there were storytellers like Amelia and Sarah to share these tales, that spirit would continue to shine brightly, guiding humanity toward a better, more resilient future.
Taking the lead.